The invitation arrived on thick cream cardstock, an exclusive vineyard event, black tie optional, +1 encouraged. "You should go," Maria said, not looking up from her laptop. "I have that conference call with Tokyo." Another evening. Another excuse. Another night where the space between us felt wider than our king-size bed. "It's supposed to be couples," I said. "Take someone from work." She waved her hand dismissively, already back in her screen's glow. I almost didn't go. But Elena, Maria's colleague, the one with the smoky laugh who joined our dinners twice before, texted, heard about the tasting. Shame to waste good wine alone. The vineyard at dusk was painted in amber and crimson, the air thick with the scent of ripening grapes and oak barrels. Elena arrived in a black dress that moved like water, her hair loose in ways I'd never seen at our kitchen table. "You look surprised," she said, her lips curving. "You look different," I managed. "So do you." Lighter somehow. We moved through the evening like dancers finding rhythm, the tasting room with its vaulted ceilings, the sommelier's descriptions we barely heard, the laughter that came easier with each pour. The wine was rich and complex, but it was the conversation that intoxicated me. About dreams deferred, about feeling invisible in your own life, about the particular loneliness of being untouched while lying next to someone. "When did you last feel alive?" she asked, swirling a Bordeaux. The question hung between us like incense. Outside, the vineyard stretched into darkness. We walked the rows of vines, our shoulders brushing, electricity building with each accidental touch. She stopped at a pergola draped in wisteria, moonlight filtering through the leaves. "I shouldn't say this," Elena whispered, turning to face me. The space between us contracted to inches. "But I think about you more than I should." My heart hammered against my ribs. I could smell her perfume, something dark and honeyed, mixed with wine and the night air. Her eyes held mine, pupils dilated in the shadows, her breathing shallow. "Every time I see you at those dinners," she continued, her voice dropping to velvet, "watching you pretend you're not starving, it takes everything in me not to." She stopped herself, but her hand rose to my chest, fingers spreading over my racing heart. The moment crystallized, her lips slightly parted, the heat radiating between our bodies, the way the moonlight caught the pulse point at her throat. I could feel my own desire rising like a fever, urgent and undeniable. "Tell me to stop," she whispered, leaning closer, "and I will." But I didn't. Couldn't. Her lips met mine with a hunger that stole my breath, soft at first, then deeper, more urgent. My hands found her waist, pulling her against me as years of longing collapsed into this single moment. She tasted like wine and promises, her fingers threading through my hair as she pressed herself closer. We stumbled backward into the shadows of the barrel room, the heavy door closing behind us with a muffled thud. The darkness enveloped us, broken only by slivers of moonlight through the high windows. Her dress whispered as it fell, my shirt following, our bodies finding each other with desperate familiarity. Everything I'd been denied, everything I'd forgotten about touch and desire and being wanted, it all came flooding back. Her skin was warm silk beneath my hands, her breath hot against my neck as she pulled me down onto the aged Persian rug that covered the stone floor. The world narrowed to sensation, the arch of her back, the way she gasped my name, the intoxicating feeling of being needed so completely. We moved together like we'd done this 1,000 times before, every touch igniting nerves I'd thought had died from neglect. She was responsive and vocal, guiding my hands, showing me exactly what she needed, and I discovered I remembered how to give pleasure, how to lose myself in someone else's ecstasy. Time disappeared. There was only the two of us, the scent of oak and wine surrounding us, the exquisite release of finally being touched, tasted, consumed. Afterward, we lay tangled together on that rug, our breathing gradually slowing. The haze of wine and desire began to lift like morning fog burning away. Reality crept back in fragments. The weight of my wedding ring, the sound of voices outside as the event concluded, the cold understanding of what we'd just done. "Oh God," I whispered, sitting up suddenly. "What did we?" Elena's expression mirrored my horror. She reached for her dress, hands shaking. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to, we shouldn't have." The guilt crashed over me like a wave, drowning the afterglow in seconds. I'd crossed a line I'd sworn I never would. The pleasure that had felt so overwhelming moments ago now tasted like ash. My phone buzzed. "Maria, conference done early. Where are you?" I felt physically sick. The drive home was a blur. Elena and I had separated without another word, the intimacy between us already calcifying into shame. I found Maria in our bedroom, already in pajamas, laptop open. "How was it?" she asked absently. For a moment I considered lying, pretending, letting the secret rot inside me like poison. But I couldn't. "We need to talk," I said, my voice breaking. She looked up, and whatever she saw in my face made her close the laptop slowly. "What happened?" "I betrayed you tonight," I said, the words tearing out of me. "With Elena. I betrayed us." What followed was the worst night of my life. Her tears, her rage, her broken questions of why and how could you that I had no good answers for. I told her everything, every terrible detail, because she deserved at least that much truth. We didn't sleep. We barely survived. The months that followed were agony. Couples therapy, individual therapy, Elena's quiet departure from Maria's company. Slowly, painfully, we began to rebuild. Not what we had before, but something new, forged in honesty about what we'd both let die through neglect. Maria admitted her own role in the distance between us. I owned my choice, my betrayal, my failure. We learned to touch again, to talk again, to be vulnerable in ways we'd forgotten. It's been 2 years now. The scar remains, but we've grown around it. What I learned, what nearly destroyed us to learn, is that desire matters, attention matters, but integrity matters most. The moment of pleasure wasn't worth the months of pain. The validation I sought in Elena's arms cost nearly everything. If you're feeling invisible in your relationship, don't wait for the breaking point. Speak. Fight for connection before you fight with betrayal. Because some mistakes you can heal from, but you carry them forever. If this story resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories about relationships, redemption, and the complicated truths of modern marriage. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever felt invisible in your relationship? How did you handle it? Let's start an honest conversation. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next story about the choices we make and the consequences we live with. Remember, your relationship deserves the truth, even when it's uncomfortable.